y'all know that when I come on camera looking like crap, it's because what I have to say is so much more important than how I look. How I look this morning is devastating, I know. I feel better this morning. I sound better this morning. I had hoped to go live. I'm still in my jammies this morning. I had hoped to go live last night. Um, a lot of stuff happened in our world last night. Um, my husband was able to return to work yesterday, his first day back after a week and a day of sickness, a very, very bad sickness that I've been very frustrated with. I've been very frustrated with. I'm gonna drop everything. I've been very frustrated with our insurance. I've been very frustrated with all that. And last night, I was just like, perspective just slapped me face first. My husband returned to work. Very luckily, hi Gypsy. Very luckily, he was a rescue squad member and a first responder and has a lot of training and a lot of history working with EMT and other personnel. And he also had a badge for a while. And we worked so hard for him to be able to go back to work last night, begging, trying to get the paperwork and everything righted around. And there are just a few people on his very late shift at the factory. And last night, he found his shift supervisor slumped over the forklift, most likely due to a heart attack. And was able to, because my husband is so calm. My husband is so grounded and so calm. He grounds me because I'm flighty as heck, y'all. I will go off on a tangent in 5 seconds. And he's very calm and grounded and does not jabber like me. And if he says anything, you need to listen. And his calm demeanor got a personnel running for the AED. The defibrillator got everyone else, got him down and got CPR started. He was on one of those stand-up operating forklifts. And he was able to immediately facilitate the calls to the emergency services and tell them exactly what was going on because he knew how to talk their language, get everything coordinated, get him out of the building the quickest and most efficient way, and get him hot loaded into a chopper. And I'm so freaking proud of my husband. Like, I can't tell you how much I'm blessed to be his wife. I don't deserve the man. But as of about 2 o'clock this morning, the co-worker was still alive and en route to one of the major medical facilities in the state. I haven't heard anything yet this morning. My husband takes it all in stride. He's just so grounded and so calm. And I just was like, I'm so glad you were at work last night. I'm so glad you were there. Because what if? And all the fussing that I do over money, yeah, I mean, it's money, and I'll pay all these stupid health bills eventually, as slow as possible. But I'll pay them. I'm going to cause a little bit of agony along my way, but I'm going to pay them. But it's just money, and money can't buy you more time. And so last night was just, and my husband takes it all in stride. And he's still just going on his normal daily business. He's worried. He's trying to, make sure he's checking in and getting the information for his bosses and stuff. He's kind of facilitating everything, but, I whine a lot and I fuss a lot. And I'm going to try my darndest to bring notice to these healthcare issues in rural areas in Appalachia and how certain demographics are just absolutely just nailed financially for being rural, for being basically in what they call flyover areas. But for all the sickness, I've still got my husband. And I didn't have to go through anything nearly as traumatic as what this man's family is going through right now. So, yeah, it was a very eye-opening evening. But yeah, so I was basically the suspense and excitement and worry and concern just kind of had me. I didn't need to be live last night, and I had almost lost my voice anyway. So that's why I did not jump on last night. We had so much just occur, and I was just not. I had to focus where I wanted to put my energy. I am feeling better today. I'm actually going to try to look like a human being later. It's going to take some Laura Geller this morning, I'm telling you. But you just, you have moments in life where perspective just slaps you in between the eyes. And I watched David Paulides' channel this morning, and he was talking about some of the factual evidence and news of our nation, and I responded to him, and I wanted to share it with you all. Well, thank you. I feel better, but I still want to feel more better, but I said, the truth never changes, but people's interpretations and people's emphasis on their biased interpretation of truth changes. So the truth is like the tetherball post, and people's interpretations of the truth is like the tetherball. And it goes in every direction, wildly at times. But eventually it always does smack the pole and have to start over. We eventually do have to come to center and start over from the core truth. I just wish we'd hurry up and smack the pole so we could start over. I just want to get this energy rerouted. I want to live in a society where people are not super aggressive and are not taking their fellow man for, just... They don't even respect life anymore. They don't even respect perspectives. They don't even, and when you demoralize the quality, the worth of a person so forcefully as the U.S. has done in the last few years, nothing good can happen. Nothing good can happen. So I really hope that things get centered again soon, and that maybe the people's truth will slap the pole, and we'll all have to come back to center and start out from a more honest, truthful foundation. But I don't know. I had a night where I just kind of reflected, and life is hard. It's harder for some people. It's easier for some people. We're all accountable, but things happen that make life take certain turns and twists. And even though I fuss, I do want to be accountable for my life. I want to step up and take charge and take ownership. But why am I saying that, sitting in Appalachia, when our powers that be are sitting in Washington and can't even say that? They're taking no ownership. They're taking no accountability. And I wonder about where we're going as a nation if we continue to forcefully demoralize the individual that builds this nation. And we feed the fat cats that do nothing but lick the cream off the top of the bowl. So that's kind of where I am today. But I'm super thankful that my husband was at work last night. And, maybe the good Lord just thought, you need a break before I make you take care of this. I don't know. Maybe he just thought he did. And it looks like the ice is going to stay just slightly north of us this winter storm, so I'm thankful for that. But perspective always slaps you right between the eyes. I'm so glad you caught me, Gypsy. Perspective always slaps you right between the eyes. And as much as I will fuss about things and gripe and groan and be a turd at times, I will also come on here and tell you all when it smacks me between the eyes. And it hit me hard last night. So I just wanted to share that sometimes there is a plan that we know nothing about that may be so beneficial to someone, save a life, help a family, change someone's complete trajectory, and we don't know. We don't know. And had my husband not taken those consecutive days off, he might not have been well enough to have been there last night. He may have had another struggle with this lung crap he's had and had to have been out, and that would have been horrible because they have such a skeleton crew on that shift. So, but it was funny because he came home and he had just snapped back into that persona where he had just co-facilitated an emergency site with the authorities that he used to work with. So, super proud of my husband. Super proud of my husband. He did not rest well last night. He's concerned and worried, but he does take everything in better stride than I do. So he's still carrying on with his normal daily ramble that he does. I'm feeling better, Brenda. Thank you. It's all coming out of here. Like it never tried to go to my lungs. So I got super lucky. It's all coming out of here, and my ears are draining really well. My jaw is down. I don't know if you could tell, but like yesterday, like this one was really swollen. I was swollen right here, and it's down so much more today. And I feel a lot better. Still got a lot of sinus pressure, but it's getting better. And I have a voice, so I may, if I feel a little bit better this evening, I may message Ron and see if he wants to start talking about potential date for the interview. I'm telling you, we had those several days that it hovered right around 0 at night, 0 to 8. I will sit by the wood stove because my body cannot. The last few years I've been having Raynaud's issues too, which if you all know what that is, your circulation screws up and it constricts your blood vessels, and it makes you almost pass out. And so I don't do well with the huge temperature changes, and especially when it gets super cold, it triggers that Raynaud's way more than what I'm comfortable with, just kind of being up and dealing with. So I'm super thankful that it's been warmer the last couple days. I think that's helped the drainage a lot. But I sound more like myself today. I feel more like myself today. So I'm going to try to, I've got to clean my house. It looks like I've just left. It just looks like I've left. Y'all, my Christmas tree is still right here because I've been so sick. I've been like, I'm not even going to tackle that. It can just live there until I feel better. So in the next 48 hours, my goal is to get it down. But we've been so sick, it's not been where I've needed to put my energy, and it's not been in my way, so I've just left it. But hopefully life is about to get back on track. We actually had a couple of Etsy orders come through, so that's been a huge blessing. We're kind of learning the, I don't feel bad now here too, thank you. So we had a couple of Etsy orders come through, so maybe our shop is going to start getting a little bit of traction, and got some people interested in some other stuff. But I just wanted to come on and say, this morning I have a whole new perspective. Hi, Nat. You'll have to rewind and watch it. Last night was a doozy. But if you ever, I get flustered, I get frustrated, and I have to come on here and whine, and that's health. You need to have your rants and moments and stuff, but also when life smacks you with an awakening, share that as well. It's going to be beneficial to others as well. So that's what I wanted to do today. I bless your heart to be in the middle of that winter storm. You take care of yourself. It's going to be horrible. The last ice storm we had here, we had like 5 days without electricity. And while I can do that, I don't enjoy it. There are parts of it that kind of remind me of childhood when it used to happen here a lot. And you bring out the hurricane lamps, you stay warm, and you make pintos on the stove. And but I don't enjoy it since I've been so sick. It's too hard on my body. So I'm so happy that is staying north of us. But I have friends that are going to be in the middle of it. I worry about them. This is going to be a big one right after that nor'easter. And the weather seems to be going crazy. The world seems to be going crazy. Joe Biden bought 65 million COVID tests for American families from China. I didn't know when a dog bit you that you went back to pet it. Is that what we do now? I'm frustrated with my nation and politics, but I did get some perspective last night. And so it was just, Joe Biden's, that's being mean to fools everywhere. I'm just frustrated as frustrated can be. But it thinks like things are falling apart for them. And if you ever wonder how horribly psychologically damaging human beings can be intentionally, all you need to do, Lord, there's a huge cat in my barn lot and pasture. Lord. He's big. I'm sorry. There's if you wonder how psychologically damaging a human being can be, just with purpose and intent to other humans, just watch what's been going on in our world. Just watch what the governments are doing to their people. Trudeau, check out, ran, tucked his tail. He's as sorry as the worst suck egg dog I've ever seen. To have the majority, a loud majority, who are being very respectfully, very respectful to represent themselves this way. In fact, he's huge. He's sitting on that pine log that we've got there, and he's huge. He's ginormous. He looks like the Pet Cemetery cat, only poofy. I've never seen him before. Don't know where he came from. Oh, I hope I don't adopt another cat. But Trudeau, the leader of Canada, got up and made that speech saying that he supported positive protest, like the ones that burned down half of a nation last year. But he couldn't support this one, and then he reduced them to horrible people, horrible beings. And I'm just like, I know we're not the minority. I know most people see the sorriness, they see the cowardice, they see the investment into deteriorating our cultures that are here in this side, in the West. And, praying for you, honey. Praying for you. You be sure to come in on a community post and check in and let us know how you're doing and stuff, sweetie. We'll be praying for you. I'm so frustrated, and we're having our voices limited so greatly, and it's not because we're saying anything wrong. It's just because we're saying what they don't want to hear. And in my life, I was always told to let everyone speak. Let everyone speak. I don't have to agree with what you say, but I do have to give you the right to speak and to express yourself. And I'm just, you can't be any more upset with a nation's leader than I am with our president and with Trudeau. Because they have absolutely no idea the lives they're impacting, because they don't live the lives of the majority of their constituents. They have no real grasp of what a lifestyle within their nation currently is. Yet they want to dictate and control every minute issue. Yeah, and it reminds me of when I worked those big broiler houses for my family, and the people would come in and finally see how chickens were farmed, and it would just take them so long to realize that man had created chicken that could come to full growth in 6 to 8 weeks. Really in 6 weeks. They fed them antibiotics and steroids, basically crushed up. We only ate homegrown chickens because we could just tell. And you would get them grown at 6 weeks, and you'd want to ship them out because you only got paid for the live that you shipped in, and you would want to send in the best number possible. Well, then they would say, well, our trucks are backed up. The trucks weren't backed up. Their drivers would tell us we're waiting for a run. But they would want to hold out for another week or two so that you would have 1,000 dice. They could get an estimated delivery, but still be under the radar, because if you fell below a certain number, the unit price went down. And so I learned at a young age tricks. You people are tricky. It's like, don't ever walk behind a mule you don't know. You will get kicked. And so for me, every nation's leader right now is a mule I don't know. And they are kicking. And I wish they would take a look at the havoc they're creating. It's just horrible. Everybody toss up some good vibes to Katrina. Yeah, our grocery sales here look pretty bad, to be honest. They're not as bad as some places, but they're pretty bad. Our little local tiny store is horrible. And they're just funneling everything through the big box stores so that the money gets made, in the bigger stores with federal monies in them. So mom and pops and smaller establishments are being chewed up and spit out. And, if you cannot see the path of destruction they've laid out for our nation, you are an idiot. I can't say that nicely. It's just what it is. If you cannot see what they're doing, to create the downfall of everything that the West has built and established and been praised for forever. You can't understand this. And I get so irritated with the black-white conversation. I don't believe there is a black-white conversation in this nation anymore. I believe they created that narrative. I think we got out of it, and then they realized it was useful to them, so they went back and created it again. And once they created it again, they tweaked it to create victims, to create a victim mentality, to create a hostile population. And you can look at the demographics and see the people that, and just because they're pinpointing and using one race doesn't mean that all the other races also get manipulated. You can see in all of the cultures and races in our nation, you can see the responses of the ones that are being manipulated by the government and the ones that are sitting back and trying to observe their fellow man as an equal human being. And you can see the ones being manipulated. And I am just appalled that people know they're being manipulated, but they are too proud to step back and say, I know I need to change. Yeah, mainstream media is horrible. George Soros just sunk $125 million into Democratic super PACs and midterm stuff. So George Soros and his son are fixing to wreak havoc again. Biden is still buying crap from China. I'm sorry. You don't pet a biting dog. I'm not a coffee drinker. I drink tea mostly, but I have so many pintos and rice and flour, and yeah, I can go back to cooking the old way for quite a while if I need to. Of course, we still, have a lot of, my parents live on a cow farm. We still have a lot of home-raised food to go through if we need to, but I just sit here amazed every day at how horrible the people that only have one job, to take care of their constituents, how horrible they can be. And yet the little people that break their backs to build this nation, like last night, can come together and save a life. Our government can't twiddle their thumbs. So I know that the people are still going the right direction. We're being stifled. And with the George Soros money, more fact checks will be. He's trying to start a good information organization. That man hasn't done anything good in his life. His name cannot be affiliated with the word good at all. We're very lucky here to have mills. We still have mills that run and operate. So you can get home ground crab if you need to. You can take your own stuff in and get it ground. So we are still more lucky than most, I guess, in some ways. But the world is going to get back to a simpler way of being soon, because it cannot function at this capacity, at this hate level. So when it does, I'm excited, but I'm also pensive to see where we get the balance to start over. God, I hope it happens. That is a huge cat. I'm just going to tell you, that's a huge cat. I'm going to have to investigate where he came from. Call neighbors. I don't necessarily want him around here. Like, he's as big as the little bobcat that we've got that comes around some. He's huge. So, I'm fixing to nibble and rest. I'm not going to do a whole lot today because I just still need my body to recoup. But I do feel better. No, it's just a big tomcat, but he's bigger than the little bobcat that we have on our trail cams here. He's huge. And it's like, dude, you're big. I have just a couple of little barn cats, but they're small little barn cats, and I don't like for them to be killed and packed off by the big ones. He's huge. He's huge. I try to get a picture or video of him if I'm able in the next couple days, since I have now noticed him. He'll probably be hanging around. You never know what's going to come through here. We had coyotes running through the barn lot the other night. When you have to get out on the back porch and scream at coyotes to shut up so you can sleep, you know you live in the country. Oh, those mill wheels are neat, aren't they? Yeah, and I think people have forgotten how to live simple. Simple life is hard life, though, and I think it will reteach a lot of the ethics that we're missing in today's society. And I also think where people have gotten away from, and I'm when I say the church, I don't mean like just Christianity. I mean any higher accountability, where people have gotten away from that. When there's no accountability, and so we just start to devalue everything because we don't have a different viewpoint. We don't have a higher motivation. We don't see a bigger plan, and that just starts to crumple everything that you feel, believe, and cherish. Because the worst thing you can do to somebody is make them feel as if there are no options, opportunities, or hope. That's what our government's done for the last 40 years. And specifically in the last 3, horribly. Yeah, I'm not going to go fast. I'm going to be slow and just mend and take it easy. But I wanted to share about yesterday. Y'all be careful. And just let you know, it was an eye-opening evening last night. God, that cat's huge. He's hanging around my fence line, thinking about coming over in the yard, but thinking, I should hide the clumps of grass. Try to get him on video. But I'm going to go and take my vitamins and sip my tea and literally just kind of hold the couch down today. That's what I'm going to be doing. And just rest. And if you all have a minute, remember Katrina and remember Priscilla as well. Priscilla is experiencing some country Christian. She's experiencing some health issues right now, and a lot of sick people right now. Does it make sense, or does it? So that's where I am. But I will be back on later, and over the next few days I'm going to be trying to get some stuff lined up to get the interview with Ryan done and to get some stuff kind of back on track. So I appreciate everybody checking in on me and sending the prayers and good vibes, and I mean I felt every one of them. I did so much better than my husband, which is so strange for me, but I'm just so glad we're both getting through this. If y'all can still remember my son Lane, he is still struggling and doesn't have insurance. Yeah, I watched Ron Hall, y'all, and MB Snyder, and I've got friends in Ohio that I'm terribly worried about right now, so it's gonna be a rough week. Everybody just check on each other, be good to people, and remember that the sun does not come out of your honey, and if it does, you need hemorrhoid cream and a talk with your ego. So if you think you get up and like crap out the sun, we have an issue. But last night, having that smack me between the eyes kind of woke me up a little bit. I may complain about a lot, but I'm still doing better than some. And I need, every once in a while, I don't get that, I forget that perspective because I get caught in so much during the headlights. But I always will come on here and tell you all when the world and truth smacks me between the eyes. And it smacked me hard last night. And, toss up some prayers for this man and his family. He's younger than me. It just blew my mind. So, but I will try to be back late tonight or tomorrow. It just depends on how I do today. And I love each and every one of you. Y'all get me through so much. I appreciate the energy. And pray to whatever you pray to. I don't care if it's your cat Booger, and I say that laughingly, but honestly, I don't care as long as you hold yourself accountable to something higher. Whatever you do, hold yourself accountable to. Start having long talks, because the world has got to shift, and it's not going to do it on its own. So, love yous. I'm going to go and rest now. Mama Liz, back to the couch.